After posting a not so supportive comment in response to a slut-shaming video made by a feminist a while ago, I got a response from her telling me that, well, you're just a man, what would you know about being slut-shamed? But she wasn't expecting my response of fuck yes I have. Like with everything, feminists seem to completely ignore the male side of the story. Like the male has never existed and any kind of issue concerning them doesn't really matter. If you look at society, male slut-shaming is almost a default rather than something that happens once in a while and pisses men off. In fact, slut-shaming has happened so much that it's accepted beyond anything that calling a woman a slut has become. The fact that people still get outraged that women are called sluts just shows how far, better off women are in terms of this issue than men are. Men are dogs by default. Men think only with their dicks. I mean, have you heard those comments before? If you look at commercials, if you look at movies, a man is usually out there getting in trouble, going apeshit over some chick, losing his whole personality because of one base instinct. Feminists often complain that slut-shaming of women has resulted in female rape victims being treated less than well. In cases where a woman would go off to a random guy's hotel room at 3 a.m. in the morning, taking drugs and alcohol with them and claiming rape, her being called a slut would be considered as less than favorable to her being raped in those situations. But if you look at the male side, a male can be tied up by a woman, held captive for days, raped and abused, and people will still say he got lucky. People will still say that, oh, that guy really had a good time. A news story about an underage boy being sexually molested by an older woman will receive cries of, well, he's just a guy, he probably enjoyed it, he wanted it. But take the same situation in reverse where a young girl is sexually molested by an older man, and there's no way you can consider her wanting it or seducing the guy. It's always the guy's fault again for being such a whore. If I talk about pickup artistry, then I'm often labeled a whore and told that I'm going to be getting a few sexually transmitted diseases. If I criticize feminism, I'm told that I probably don't get laid a lot. As with the majority of things that feminists bitch about, men have it way worse than they do, or at very least equally as bad. The only difference is that men really until recently haven't really spoken out about it, and the only reason they're speaking out about it is because feminists have taken it a step beyond simply bitching about something that affects men a lot worse, to censoring, to redefining what constitutes rape, and really pushing it into the area of having actual control, putting a gun to people's heads rather than simply giving their opinion on something and letting the other people tell them to fuck off. They've seen that men are quite resilient to verbal abuse, to people making noises at them, because they know that they can walk away from it. And like I always say, I don't really care if I show men having dicks chopped off on TV, as long as you're allowed to show women having their breasts chopped off also, and people don't go crazy about it. I believe in the freedom of people to make their own choice about what they want and don't want to see, because they can simply turn the TV off and not watch it. But of course, feminists, being the real bullies that they are, have to push it further. They saw that men are affected by, verbal abuse, or, being shown getting bashed up, or being shown that they are just animals with base instincts, that kind of stuff just slid over men's heads. And yet, these poor, defenseless women, they're getting so upset about the smallest little things. So they have to censor, or put men in jail. They won't be happy or satisfied until men are in jail. Like, it's only a woman who gets raped if she's intoxicated, regardless of whether the man is intoxicated as well. If the man is intoxicated and he gets taken home by a woman he didn't really want to sleep with, and he wakes up the next morning and wants to chew his arm off, like what happened to me before, he's responsible for that. He's the man. he wanted sex, he always wants sex, and the woman should be set free. But if the guy, does the same thing with a woman, and then that's rape. Lock the guy up for the rest of his life and give him a criminal record and give him a predatory whatever status thing. Yeah, just fuck his life up completely. He's the man and he needs to be in jail, because that's the nature of things. That's what's supposed to happen. I can't believe you don't understand that. So unfortunately, and perhaps fortunately, because it's become a really good defense and really good counter to this kind of bullshit from feminists, and I'm guessing the feminists, I always say feminist, but I guess it could be a woman who hates feminism and doing this, but I'm pretty sure it's feminist, that men are often treated a lot worse in society for all the things they complain. I mean, if you look at about the reality of the situation and just open your eyes a little bit and put yourself in someone else's shoes for a few seconds, you'll see that men have it really way worse. It's just we've learned to kind of deal with it. So perhaps we're not making as much noise about it, but we're starting to, because I think we need to do it. But I ask you, before if there's any feminists out there listening, just put yourself in a guy's shoes. You always say, oh, you're not really a woman, you won't understand how it feels. Well, you're not really a man, and you don't really understand how it feels to be a man, and to see how a man is constantly barraged with the same kind of things you often talk about. And just have a look in society yourself before you post something really, really stupid. That's all I gotta say. Thanks, guys.